It was the moment she called me pathetic in front of everyone that I knew something inside me had snapped. Quietly, but for good. Friday night. We were sitting at Carrabba's in Lexington, Kentucky, at a big round table near the window. The lights were dim, the place was packed, and laughter echoed from other tables. But ours? Ours was tense. Cold. The kind of cold you don't feel on your skin, but in your chest. I sat there between two couples, people I barely knew, friends of my wife, and for the first time in my life, I felt like a complete outsider in my own relationship. I'm Ethan Wallace, 37, warehouse supervisor for a packaging company outside of town. I've worked there 11 years. I'm not flashy, but I pay my bills. I wake up at 5 every morning, drive 30 minutes in, drink burnt coffee from the vending machine, and keep trucks moving. I'm not a boss in title, but I make sure things don't fall apart. I come home sore, but always with groceries. Always with something in hand. That night, I wore my best jeans. The dark ones. And a new flannel Emily said she liked. Though the second I stepped into the car, she rolled her eyes. "You really wore that shirt? You look like you're going camping." I laughed awkwardly and said, "It's clean and new. So's a damn lab coat." "Doesn't mean you should wear it to dinner," she muttered, not even looking at me while scrolling through Instagram on her phone. That was warning shot number 1. I let it slide. We get to Carrabba's, and I'm trying to be upbeat. I open her car door. She doesn't even say thank you. I compliment her hair, which I genuinely loved. She dyed it that deep brown with red tones that made her eyes stand out. She just said, "It's not for you." Inside, we meet up with Melissa and Jake, her high school friend and her new boyfriend, and Janelle, who brought a guy named Bradley. She was clearly trying to impress. Everyone orders wine. I get a Bud Light. I didn't feel like trying to pretend I was something I wasn't. We settle into light conversation, and Emily jumps in to announce to the table. "Ethan here manages boxes. Real big shot stuff." I smile, try to explain. "I supervise inbound and outbound at Central State Packaging. We ship to companies all across the region." Basically, she cuts in, "He watches people stack things." Melissa laughs. Bradley chuckles, trying to be polite. I look at Janelle. She's giving me a look that says she didn't think that was funny. I stare at my drink. It's getting warm. I can already feel the heat building behind my ears. The kind of heat that makes your eyes sting, but you don't blink because you refuse to let it show. I try to steer the topic towards something safe. "Anyone watch that Bengals game last week?" Jake nods, starts talking about the defense. I jump in to add something, a stat I'd read about red zone plays, and right as I'm mid-sentence, Emily grabs the breadbasket, slaps a piece on her plate, and says loud enough to interrupt me, "Babe, no one wants to hear you break down football. This isn't a man cave." Everyone goes silent. Jake stirs his wine with the stem. Melissa bites her lip. Bradley looks around like he wants to disappear. I stay frozen. My face, red. My stomach, turning. I mutter, "I'll go get some air." I stand up. As I do, Emily smirks and says, "Try not to mansplain to the waiter on your way out." That hit harder than it should have. And it wasn't the insult. It was the effortlessness. Like she enjoyed the feeling of tearing me down. Not because I deserved it, but because she could. I step outside. It's chilly. Mid-March breeze cutting through the parking lot. I lean against the brick wall near the side exit and breathe slow. In, out, in again. I look up at the sky, full of clouds, no stars, and I start wondering when exactly I lost her respect. Not her love. Respect. 10 minutes go by. I think about calling an Uber, about walking home, about walking forever. Then I hear a voice. "Hey, you all right?" It's Janelle. She walks up next to me and lights a cigarette. Offers me one. I shake my head. "You don't deserve that." What she said in there, that was low. Really low. I don't know what to say. I just nod. She exhales smoke into the wind and adds, "You're a good guy, Ethan." That much is obvious. I don't know what's going on with her, but that was hard to watch. I glance at her, surprised. No one said something like that to me in years. She continues, "The way she talks to you, it's like she wants everyone to see you the way she sees you. But it says more about her than it does about you." That one sentence, it sticks with me even now. It says more about her than it does about you. I go back inside. They're ordering dessert. I sit down quietly. Emily doesn't ask if I'm okay. Doesn't even look at me. Just says, Get the tiramisu, Ethan. It's the only thing here you don't butcher. That was it. That was the moment I decided this marriage was over. It didn't matter that we share a mortgage or that I still wore the wedding band she'd picked. I was done being her punching bag, her prop, her clown in plaid. I smiled, a real smile this time, and whispered, just loud enough for her to hear, "You'll miss me when there's no one left to humiliate." She paused, looked at me like I'd slapped her, but I was already waving for the check. That night didn't just open my eyes. It freed me, because once you've been publicly humiliated by the person who's supposed to protect your dignity, there's nothing left to defend, only to reclaim. You want to know the exact moment I realized my marriage wasn't just broken, but sick? It was a Tuesday night, 9:14 p.m. I remember the time because that's when I got the message that flipped everything upside down. It had been 4 days since that dinner from hell at Carrabba's. 4 days since Emily humiliated me in front of people I barely knew, and I walked out of that restaurant feeling like someone had peeled the skin off my pride. Since then, we hadn't talked much. I went to work, came home, ate alone. She barely looked up from her phone, slept with her back turned to me. Every night. No kiss, no goodnight, not even a "how was your day?" But that Tuesday night, something shifted. I was in the garage, changing the spark plugs on the Ford Escape, her car, because she'd been complaining about it misfiring. I had grease on my hands, socket wrench in one hand, and my phone buzzed in my hoodie pocket. I almost ignored it, but thank God I didn't. It was a message from Janelle. "Hey, you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to tell you something. About Emily, and I can't keep pretending I don't know anymore." I froze. She followed it with a second message. This time, a screenshot. It was from earlier that day. A text thread. Emily's name at the top. Clear as daylight. The message she'd sent to someone else. Someone saved in her phone as B. "Don't worry. He still has no idea. He's clueless. I'm just playing it cool till we figure things out." And a reply from B. "You free Thursday night again? I'll get the room at the DoubleTree." I just stood there. The wrench fell out of my hand and clanged against the concrete. DoubleTree? That's 5 miles from our house. She didn't even bother to go across town. I messaged Janelle back. "Is this real?" She replied instantly. "Yes." I shouldn't have waited this long to say something. I've seen the messages. I saw them hugging in the parking lot a few weeks ago. I didn't know how to tell you without blowing everything up. That line hit me like a gut punch. I didn't know how to tell you. I wiped my hands on a rag, went inside, and stared at Emily sitting on the couch. She had her blanket wrapped around her, TV on, scrolling through her phone like she hadn't just detonated our marriage behind my back. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I sat across from her and just watched. Watched her smile at something on the screen. Watched her sip her wine. Watched the way she bit her nail the exact same way she did when she lied about spending too much at Target. That same subtle twitch in the jaw. I didn't ask her who B was. I already knew. Brandon Keller. She used to work with him before he got promoted and transferred to corporate in Cincinnati. They used to have harmless banter. At least that's what she always said. "He's married with kids, Ethan. Chill." I met him once at an office Christmas party. One of those smooth-talking guys with perfect hair, big laugh, expensive shoes. The kind of guy who doesn't say anything offensive, but somehow makes you feel like you're wearing a Goodwill name tag. That's when it all started connecting. The girl nights, where she came home tipsy and wouldn't let me touch her. The new perfume I never saw her wear around me. The gym classes she suddenly had on Saturdays, even though she never came back sweaty. The little emotional digs that felt like they were rehearsed. The way she picked fights before family dinners just so I'd stay home and she could go relax by herself. I felt like an idiot, but I wasn't going to explode. I wasn't going to scream. I was going to observe. I waited for her to go to bed. Then I unlocked the iPad she kept in the kitchen drawer. Same passcode as always, her birthday. I knew exactly where to look. She never deleted iMessages on the iPad. She thought she was clever by texting him from her phone, but the cloud never lies. What I found made me sick. Messages from weeks, even months back. "I wish I was in your arms right now. He's in the garage again, like always. So predictable. You make me feel more alive than I've felt in years. He thinks I'm at Janelle's again. I'm driving to you now. Can't wait to feel your mouth on my neck." I shut the iPad and just sat there in the dark kitchen, fists clenched on the granite countertop. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink. I just stared at the Keurig, thinking about how many damn cups of coffee I brought her in the morning, thinking I was being a good husband, all while she was texting another man under my roof. The next day, I called Sam, a buddy of mine who works IT at a hospital in town. He owed me a favor. I'd helped him move a refrigerator down 2 flights of stairs in July. I asked him how to back up iPad text to PDF. He walked me through it. By Thursday, I had a 47-page file with every dirty, sneaky, disgusting text between her and Brandon. I labeled the file EmilyKellerlog.pdf. I printed it at Office Depot, 3 copies. Bound, black and white, simple cover. I tucked 1 copy into a manila envelope and slid it into my work locker. The second one I'd later leave on her pillow. And the third? That one was for Brandon's wife. Her name was Kara. I found her through Facebook. Sent her a polite message. I believe we need to speak privately. It's about your husband and mine. She agreed. We met at a Panera Bread the following Sunday. I handed her the folder. She didn't cry. Not at first. She read 3 pages. Then she whispered, "He told me he was traveling for work those weekends." I just nodded. Same lie. Different homes. We didn't need to say much more. We both knew the damage had been done. But at least now, the lies were dead. No more shadows. As I walked back to my truck, I checked my phone. A message from Emily. "Did you move my iPad? I can't find it." I smiled. The house of cards was starting to shake. And I was just getting started. She came home to find a suitcase at the front door and divorce papers on the kitchen counter. And I didn't say a single word. That was the night I stopped being her backup plan. Her emotional punching bag. Her safe choice. It was the night I served my revenge on a cold ceramic plate, right next to her favorite wine glass, already filled, waiting. I'll back up, but not too much. After I met with Kara, Brandon Keller's wife, at Panera, everything changed. That meeting, that moment where she flipped page after page of filth, did something permanent inside me. It killed the last piece of hope I had. And when I saw the tears building in her eyes as she whispered, "He held our son with those hands the same night," I knew I wasn't just dealing with betrayal. I was dealing with rot. I didn't want justice. I wanted finality. And I was going to get it without ever raising my voice, touching her, or stooping to her level. This wouldn't be some Hollywood scene. No shouting. No furniture breaking. Just one man, taking back his peace with calculated silence. First thing I did was contact Shelby Grant, a divorce attorney in Lexington that Janelle recommended. Tough, sharp, no nonsense. The kind who doesn't blink twice at betrayal. We sat in her office, beige walls, framed law degrees, her paralegal scribbling notes while I handed over my folder. Shelby flipped through the pages and said, "We've got more than enough." I told her, I want to be done. Clean. Fast. I don't want her to see it coming. She looked me in the eye and said, "Then we don't send a warning. We file. We serve. We freeze the joint accounts quietly the same morning." And that's exactly what we did. Wednesday morning, 6:15 a.m., I stopped by the PNC bank branch near my job before clocking in. I removed half of our joint savings, not a penny more than I was legally entitled to. Transferred it into a separate account under my name only. Then I canceled my credit card linked to her Uber Eats addiction. Next, I took the Ford Escape off our insurance policy. That car was in my name, and I was about to call in the tow. By 9 a.m., Shelby had filed the divorce paperwork with the county clerk's office. I paid the process server a little extra to make sure she got the papers in a way that would sting, but not cause a scene. I chose a Thursday night. I knew she had plans to go out with the girls, which was obviously code for Brandon. I got home from work at 5:15. She was in the shower. I heard music playing, Alicia Keys, like she was prepping for some seductive date. The nerve of her, getting dolled up in our house, under the roof I paid for, so she could sneak around. I didn't say a word. I took her small purple suitcase from the closet, the one she used for her girls' weekends. I packed it neatly. Nothing dramatic. No shredded clothes, no notes. Just her favorite heels, 3 dresses, that bottle of perfume she only wore when I wasn't around. Then I opened her wine, the expensive bottle she was saving, and poured her a glass. Set it next to the manila envelope with her name written in black ink. Inside, The divorce petition, a printed copy of her text with Brandon, and a single post-it note. You played house with me and slept in someone else's bed. Now, go play somewhere else. She came out of the bathroom around 6:10, hair wrapped in a towel, already checking her phone. Her heels clicked on the tile as she entered the kitchen, and then she froze. She saw the suitcase first, then the wine, then the envelope. She picked it up slowly, like she already knew. What is this? I didn't answer. I was sitting at the dining table, scrolling through my phone like I wasn't watching the world collapse in her hands. She opened the envelope, read 2 lines, and her mouth dropped. You're divorcing me? Still, I said nothing. She flipped the pages frantically until she saw the screenshots. Her face turned pale. You went through my messages? I looked her in the eyes. Calm, steady. Then finally, I said it. I didn't go through anything. The truth found me. She opened her mouth, ready to spin something. Anything. But nothing came out. I stood up, walked to the front door, and opened it. Your ride should be here soon. Don't keep Brandon waiting. The silence between us wasn't awkward. It was deafening. She knew she couldn't lie her way out. Couldn't guilt me. Couldn't fake tears. I'd seen everything. She walked to the door slowly, like she was still hoping for some last-minute lifeline. But there was nothing. I was done saving a woman who drowned me for sport. You're really doing this? She asked, one hand on the suitcase. I nodded. You already did it. I'm just cleaning up the mess. She paused on the porch. The sunset was golden behind her. For a second, I almost pitied her. Almost. Then a gray Honda Civic pulled up Brandon's car. She blinked fast, like the reality was finally hitting. You told Kara? She asked. I tilted my head. What do you think? She didn't respond. She just walked down the steps, got in the car, and they drove off. I closed the door behind her and locked it. And I swear to you, the silence that filled that house after she left, it wasn't loneliness. It was peace. Pure, uninterrupted peace. That night, I ordered pizza. Not because I was sad, but because I could. I ate it on the couch. No nagging. No insults. No fake laughs. Just me, a root beer, and the realization that I've finally taken my life back. 2 days later, Kara texted me. He's begging to come back. I told him to sleep at his mom's. I replied, good. Let him explain everything to her over Sunday dinner. Monday morning, Emily started blowing up my phone. Calls. Voicemails. Messages that went from angry to pleading. She said she was lost, confused, still in love, making a mistake. She left one voicemail that started with, I can't believe you would betray me like that. I didn't even listen to the rest. I just deleted it, tossed my phone on the table, and walked out back to enjoy the quiet with a beer. You see, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's removing yourself so cleanly, so completely, that the person who hurt you is forced to sit with the echo of their own decisions every single night. And that's the kind of silence they never recover from.